Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. Yes. Thank you very much for joining today's webinar. The agenda of today's webinar is to help you uh, craft a compelling statement of purpose that will get you admit from the university of your preference, as well as best fit universities, right? So before I start the webinar, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Priya Singh. I've been working in this industry for the past 10 years and with Manya for the last 5 years, during which I've been able to acquire understanding of various verticals of application, specifically editing. And I have helped many students get into the university of their choice. Carnegie Mellon, John Hopkins, EDHEC Paris, to name a few, and so on and so forth. Uh, I would really like to share some of the points that will help you draft a compelling SOP. And before I start sharing about the details, I would like to bring your attention to statistics. So if you look at the application, when your application is evaluated by the admissions committee, 40% weightage is given to your essays and letter of recommendations in total. So 40% weightage is given to your statement of purpose, essays, letter of recommendation. It's not a less number, it's a huge number. So there are two type of applicants. If you are somebody who has got great CGPA, a good test scores, standardized test scores, and then this 40% is a great opportunity for you to kind of translate the score into conviction, to convince the admissions committee that you are a great value addition, right? And if you are somebody who has got decent scores, decent CGPA, decent standardized test scores, then it's a great opportunity for you to convince the university that you can actually bring a lot of value. So either ways, uh, this is a great opportunity for you to put your best foot forward, and you cannot leave it for the last minute. That's a big no-no. If you are thinking that you will take this up the last month, maybe the last 2 weeks will be enough for you to come up with great essays, then it's not a very great idea. Hence, we should start early. If you are applying next year, if you're going for, maybe fall 2020, say 25 is over, if you're going for 26, then you should start planning your applications, as well as your SOPs, essays, and letter of recommendation. Today, we will be focusing on statement of purpose. Particularly, we will be covering the points in your SOP. Now, before I kind of share the details, I would also like to clarify some of the misconceptions that we all have, especially the applicants. These misconceptions prevent them from actually coming up with a good SOP. So, first is bombastic language. Somehow, we all have bought this idea that writing beautifully or a bombastic language is going to get me an admit. So we read some sample online and we feel that this is what I want to get admit into Stanford or Yale, but we forget that it is a content, what you are writing, what information is there, that is very, very important. So because of this belief that I have to beautify my language, we end up compromising with the vital aspects that we need to project through these documents, and those vital aspects actually will help you get an admit, not the other way around. So this is the biggest misconception that many a times we face when students feel that I want to beautify it, it has to stand out. But we forget that the SOP, the purpose of SOP is to project the vital aspects of your personality in a correct light. So that is the purpose, not to just present something beautifully. Another point is that many a times students apply, directly, and they receive rejection. And upon reviewing the SOPs and drafts, we realized that in many SOPs, the vital aspects were missing. For example, in some goals were missing. goals are one of the most important aspects of your application. So goals were missing, then university specific paragraph was missing, and if students had mentioned goals, then they were not clear, they were very generic. I'll give you one example that nowadays everybody use left, right, and center, which is that I want to create solutions for real world problems. So this is a very generic answer that you can come up with, and this is not what university is expecting from you. So this is a big no-no if we are thinking of such answers. So when upon reviewing, we could understand why some applications get rejected, because we somehow forget to mention important points that we need to add in our SOP, right? And the last point that I would like to share is the length of your SOP. Ideal length of SOP is 1,000 words. If no word limit is specified, then stick to 1,000 words. Very lengthy SOPs, long SOPs, 3-page SOPs are really not recommended, because admissions committee, they are racing against time. They don't have time to read your SOP. You have got couple of minutes to convince them that you are the best fit for the university. So it is advisable that you stick to 1,000 word limit, unless university has specified you to write 500 word SOP. So please stick to the word limit specified. We may think that we can go 10 words above, that would be okay, but I would still suggest that please stick to the word limit. Don't go a word beyond that. Yeah. So just to help you understand that your essay, ideally at the end of the day, it should market you, market your profile and traits in front of the foreign university, right? It's a form of marketing, because you are given an opportunity to present yourself, and SOP is a way through which you are going to do that. So let us now look at how to draft an SOP. What are the important points to consider while drafting an SOP? Uh, what should be the structure? What should be the content? So I'll cover these points one by one. Yeah. So basically, any draft, whether you are drafting SOP for master's program, whether you're drafting SOP, say for UG Common App, or you are going for MBA essays or PhD, this is applicable to all. Yeah. So basically, every draft consists of 3 parts. The first is introduction. The second is the body of the essay, which will have couple of multiple paragraphs, and the last is conclusion. Now, the opening statement, the introduction, the opening statement should introduce what you are going to cover in your essay. For example, if I'm the editor, I'm the admissions, I'm a part of admissions committee, then I should be able to know what the student is going to cover in the next couple of paragraphs. Uh, Say in the third paragraph, I'm getting to know the student is applying to masters in data science program. That shouldn't be the case. The first opening statement, even when you are sharing say anecdote that how you got interested in this field, make sure that you include uh, what you are going to cover later on, your interest in the field that you're going to pursue. That should be covered in the first paragraph. Moving on, now the subsequent paragraphs will be 2, 3, 4, depending on what sort of experience you have. So the every paragraph that you're going to draft, there has to be a link between them. For example, say the second paragraph is going to be about your academic experience, your undergrad, bachelor's experience, yeah, or your school experience if you are applying uh, to universities in Canada or Australia. SOP, any draft. The second is going to cover your uh, whatever you have done so far. So it we will follow the peel method. So what is peel method? So peel method is, the first is P, which is point. You make a point. E, elaborate. Second is you have to elaborate that point clearly. Third is examples. You have to substantiate it by giving examples. And L is linking. There has to be a proper link between the content. To give you an example, to make it simpler for example, you say that you are talking about your undergrad experience, right? In your bachelor's, I sought out coveted projects to apply my theoretical knowledge. Now, as a reader, I don't know what projects you did. So you are going to talk about those projects. I worked on so and so project. Now, what was your role? You have to talk about, this was my role, this was my contribution, these were my learnings, this was the impact and outcome of the project. Now, if you can numerically give some numerical, add some numerical value, great. For example, if you want to show that there was 90% increase in the improvement of a machine, or whatever you're talking about, if you can show it numerical numbers, then that's great. Please go ahead. So the idea is that whatever you are talking about, you have to elaborate it. You have to elaborate it. You have to give examples, and you have to have find proper links between the sentences, between the paragraphs. So once you have done it, you will do the same for your internship experience, you will do the same for your work experience, and then moving on, you will do the same for the university specific paragraph, your goals and conclusion. And when you are concluding your essay or SOP, you are going to link it to the opening statement. So many a times there is a totally, we don't know. You started like randomly, there is a random ending to your SOP. That shouldn't be the case. There has to be a proper link between the last paragraph, the concluding paragraph, and the first paragraph, the opening statement of your SOP. Then it's a properly crafted SOP. Yeah. And another thing is that many a times the transitions in your SOP are very rough. Many a times we forget that, there has to be a proper link between each paragraph. So there is abrupt beginning of third paragraph, say, completely different to what you have written in the second paragraph. So it is important that we come up with smooth transitions, make transitions as smooth as we can, so that when I read the SOP, when admissions committee, they read your SOP, they don't find any gaps or some, mistakes, or they find it difficult to understand the flow of your journey. So it is important that we take care of these things while crafting an SOP. I will give you an example to simplify this process. For example, I'm a student applying, going for master's in data science. Yeah. And I've done my undergrad and master's in computer science. I have to craft an SOP. First thing is, of course, it will be a rough draft. I'm going to start writing by sharing how I got interested in data science. So I might start with an anecdote that during a lecture in so and so semester, I was exposed to the field of data science, this topic. Okay. And that's how I got interested into this subject. So you will give a proper anecdote, example, how you got interested into this field, what have you understood, and how you want to pursue it to strengthen your understanding of this field and accomplish your goals. So this is the first paragraph. Moving forward, you will be talking about your academic experience, because every university wants you to talk what you have done so far, right? So for my example, my undergrad is in computer science. I'll share that I pursued my undergrad in computer science from so and so college, and during which I studied so and so subjects. I worked on so and so projects. So you're going to talk about everything, and you are going to talk about everything using the peel method that I just discussed, right? So you'll talk about your projects, you're going to talk about your internships, you're going to talk about your work experience if you have, and then you will talk about why you want to do your masters. Now it is important. Many a times we kind of jump from our background immediately to, now I want to pursue masters. But I want to know why you want to pursue masters, right? Why do you feel the need to pursue masters at this stage of your life? You can also go and work somewhere and get professional experience. Why do you feel the need? So that has to be explained before you start talking about your goals and university specific paragraph, right? So once you have explained that I want to acquire so and so skill set, and I believe that masters is going to help me do that, right? Be as specific as possible. Don't be generic. And then you talk about that your goals, that through this I will be able to accomplish my goals. Now, goals are also short term, long term. Many a time students end up, they feel that short term goals are actually doing my masters. No, short term goals are what you're going to do after you are done with your masters. So after completing masters, what are your goals? Then 7 to 10 years down the line, what are your long term goals? So you've got to mention all of that and be as specific as possible. Again, I would like to reiterate that point when I said that students end up writing. Many a times they say that I want to create solution for real world problems, especially when they're applying to data science or AI. But what real world problems you want to resolve, and how you think you will resolve those real world problems. So be as specific as possible. For example, there was a student who was going for this program asked in AI, and he had a vision. He shared that he wanted to use that in the field of agriculture. And he actually gave examples and convinced the admissions committee that this is how I'm going to use my skill set to create value in this particular industry. So that is what is required. You cannot be generic about your goals. University look at your goals very, they take it very seriously, right? So it's time that we also start thinking about our goals and really research about it. Another example of generic answer would be, I want to, after graduation, I want to work as an engineer at Apple, IBM, Google. This is the most generic answer that I see. Like everybody wants to work with Google, everybody wants to work with Apple. But the idea is that in Google also there are various verticals. Where do you want to work? What do you want to do? That is still not, many times it's not clear. So do your research, Google, find out, and then say what you want to say, right? Don't just write random answers. And the last paragraph would be why this university. So university is aware that you are applying to many universities. Apart from this, it is important that you go to the university website, research it thoroughly. What is happening on campus? Uh, the professors, what is the curriculum? If you're going to talk about the professors you would like to work with, do mention their research. You're going to find everything online. You can check the alumni you would like to quote there, that the ones that you get inspired from. You can talk about the student clubs, organizations, and everything on campus that you would like to be a part of. So the university specific paragraph again is very, very important. we Sometimes we want to write so much that we forget that these two paragraphs are equally important, your goals and university specific, right? So even though we want to share about ourselves, we need to understand that SOP is a 1,000 word draft ideally, and it has to have all the components uh, to make it actually a good one. So don't compromise with all these important content while talking about yourself and your experience. Now, once you are done with your SOP, you can use the same SOP. If you're applying to the same program, you can use the same SOP in all universities. You just have to modify the university specific paragraph. So that you can do and apply. Uh, to kind of, how do you figure out that your SOP is effective? Excuse me. So the best way to check the effectiveness of your SOP is to see if it covers what, why, how. What is what, why, how? What is, if every SOP, every essay, every common app, UCAS, whatever you are applying, whatever draft is there, if it covers what, why, how, it is a good one. So what means, what is what you have done so far in this field, okay? The like relevant to what you're relevant to the program that you're going to. What are your academic accomplishments? What is your, of course, experience so far, internship, academic projects? Everything is what. Now, why you want to pursue this program? That is very important. And why this university? And how this program is going to help you accomplish your short-term and long-term goals. So if the SOP answers what, why, how, it is fine. Okay, that's how you can check it, the effectiveness of your SOP. Another thing that I would like to highlight is, I would like to share about ChatGPT, because these days we all have access to ChatGPT, and definitely it's a useful tool, and we are able to get information about anything, quickly. So we of course end up using taking help of ChatGPT while crafting our SOPs and essays. However, the problem is that if I read the SOP, I can quickly identify if it's if it is AI or it's humanized. So if you are taking help of ChatGPT, make sure that you humanize it. Now the thing is that no matter how beautifully ChatGPT create your SOP, but if the content is not right, if the proper information is not there, it is not going to be helpful. So one has to be very, very careful when it comes to using ChatGPT for your essays. For LORs and students end up using, that's still okay because it's a third party draft. But for SOPs, I would recommend that please make sure that it is humanized. It has content which university is looking for. It is not just random draft which is very generic. Let me tell you, when I look at the SOP, I can easily find out if it's written by ChatGPT AI or not. Again, there's a question that I think we get asked a lot: is ChatGPT plagiarism? Plagiarism means that you have copy pasted, you have stolen content, somebody else's content. That is plagiarism, right? AI, Chat GPT is about using AI to do work for you. So these two are different things. So don't get confused. There are tools to check whether the draft is written by AI, and there are tools to check the plagiarism also. Your SOP should strictly be no play, like it should be no. There should be not a single plagiarism in your SOP. That's a strict no-no for sure. You cannot copy paste from website. You cannot copy paste from anywhere else. Plagiarism is a strict no for sure. And while using AI, please make sure that it is humanized. However, it is nothing can actually compare, nothing can replace human touch. The idea, the sort of innovation, the creativity that is required in your SOP to make it unique. Otherwise, everybody is gonna submit the same sort of SOP, right? Everything is gonna look similar. So that is not gonna make you stand out. That's why a professional help at times is required. Yeah. Moving forward, I would also like to share about the word limit. Before I talk about the word limit, I would also like to share that some of you must be applying for masters, some of you may be going for UG. So every program has different requirements. So this is a very generic guidance. However, this is definitely the fundamentals you should stick to, but there will be separate different requirements by like for each program there will be different. For example, for UCAS you are supposed to submit a common app essay along with supplementary essays and resume and LORs. For UCAS, you are supposed to submit personal statement along with LORs and resume. For MBA, you will have multiple essays. Each university will have their own questions that you will have to answer. They will be covering community, diversity, leadership, inclusivity. So those will be very, very different from your regular MS. And MS is basically SOP. Universities might also ask for personal statement, personal history statement, diversity statement. And for PhD, you will have networking letter, research statement, SOP, letter of recommendation, and resume. So each university will have their own requirements. So once you start this process, make sure that you are aware of the requirements of the university before starting to work on these drafts. Yeah. Now, suppose your SOP is lengthy, 1,000 word, or like you have to bring it down to 500 words, 750 words, or it's quite lengthy. What you're gonna do? So, if you have followed the process, if you followed the structure and everything, there are a couple of things that I would like to share that will help you polish your SOP. Yeah. So, one is that excessive use of the. We end up using the a lot. So you will have to go through your SOP and find out where delete the number of times you have written the a and you will find a lot of places where you will be using these things unconsciously. So that is one way of reducing the content. Second is using shorter words, shorter sentences. Uh, your sentences should not be wordy, right? For example, sometimes we end up saying something in 3 lines without any full stop, without any punctuation. This should we should avoid, right? So, for example, it went up to 2 days. We can say it lasted for 2 days. Like, there's a way to say the same thing, but in lesser words. Another thing that we can do is avoiding needless transitions. So needless transitions, talking about story, giving a lot of background, talking about family background in detail, that we can avoid. Yeah, using shorter words, choosing active voice. This is again one tip which you can follow in your resume as well. That is, use active voice. Don't use passive voice. So active voice is I completed the work in 2 days, and passive is work was completed by me in 2 days. So always go with the active voice. That is more relevant and more professional. Okay. And then another thing is way of bringing the word count down is avoid hanging words. For example, you are writing an SOP, and in one paragraph there are 4 lines, and the fourth line has one word only. So it is, we call it hanging word or dangling word, where it's very, you can see that hanging word separately in the paragraph. It doesn't look professional, it is not visually appealing. So avoid any sort of hanging word, and delete it from the, try to kind of edit your SOP and bring it down. That is one way of really polishing your SOP. The more you revise your SOP, the more you polish it, the better it will be, right? So you will have to do multiple revisions in order to finalize your SOP. And you might also need help of others, because many a times when you're working on the same draft, when you're working on lot of drafts together, it's very difficult for us to see the mistakes. That's why we need help. Yeah, so it is very important that we do take help. Also, when you are going through this application process, you've started 1 year like before, then you will also be caught up with standardized tests and other sort of exams. So you should plan all the things in such a way that you have good time to work on your essays, revise them, polish them, get it checked, and then submit the application. So these were a couple of things that you can do, while kind of working on your SOPs, while crafting the SOP. As I've shared the timeline, I hope these points will help you come up with stellar SOPs, and will make like your application process really, really smooth. That's all from my side. These were a couple of points that I wanted to share with you regarding the SOP. And all the best, all the very, very best to all of you. And hope you all could actually take some pointers to start this journey. So thank you very much once again, and over to Kajal. Are we taking the questions as well? Okay, so a couple of questions. Somebody has asked 2 pages with 8 paragraphs and 900 word is considered good SOP. Uh, I think you are saying that, not asking. So 900 words SOP is fine. If the limit is 1,000 word, but you have written 900 word SOP, it's okay. Make sure that make sure you have all the content written. Like, you have written everything, your goals, your academic experience, extracurricular accomplishments, university specific. If all those points are covered, it's good to go. Is it mandatory to address my introduction of my born and brought up details of family members? No. In SOP, you are not required to. If you are asked to submit a personal statement, then you have to check the prompt. Then you can maybe talk about it, only if it is asked, only if it has had impact in your life, in your academic journey. Then, for example, many students have had financial experiences in life, and which has impacted their academic journey. Then you can actually talk about it in your personal statement, but in statement of purpose, no, you're not supposed to. Another thing is, don't they run plagiarism? Yes, they do. That's why plagiarism is a big no, strictly not allowed. Uh, Please share few SOPs which was selected for. I can't do it on a webinar. However, I'm sure you can easily find it on Google. And for more information, you can actually reach to Manya Experts, a help desk, and find out the process. Um, yeah, I think these are the couple of questions that have been posted on the chat. uh, if you have any other question, you can type it, or else we can wrap up the webinar. Yeah. Anything else, Kajal, before we close today's call? For any other information, you can reach to Manya Help Desk. If you want to connect with editors, if you want to get your profiling done, if you want to get the assessment done, uh, you can reach to our experts. Uh, so there's a question, can you please tell more about intro and university specific paragraph? As I shared, your introduction should is all about your what acted as an inspirational pull for you to pursue that program. So how you got interested in that particular field, you have to share an anecdote, and then talk about how you want to pursue this program at so and so university. So introductory paragraph is all about anecdote and your connection with the program that you're going for, that subject particularly. And your university specific paragraph, as I shared, you have to go to the website and find out as much as you can specific details about the curriculum, subjects that you would like to pursue, that you're particularly interested in, professors that whose research work you are inspired by, student clubs, organizations, that you can actually go to the website and find out initiatives on campus. Always try to align your SOP with the values of the college you're going to, right? For example, if a university's tagline, if you go through it, it will tell you what are the expectations. Are they celebrating diversity? Are they focusing on inclusivity? And then try to link your SOP in some way or the other to the vision of the university. That is one way of really strengthening your SOP. Yeah. Does it necessarily have to be an emotional connection? No, it is you are not supposed to have an emotional connection with the subject, but you have to give some context to the reader as to how you got connected to the subject, how you got interested in that subject. For example, it could be a lecture, it could be a webinar, it could be something you saw at home, it could be a personal experience, it could be maybe something that really caught your attention and really kind of made you pursue that program. So it is not about emotional connection, it is about how you got interested in that particular subject. What was that incident, what was that situation that sparked your interest? So that's what um, you know that you can talk about it. And of course you can talk about the perks and potential career. That's one of the reasons why you're going to pursue your masters. You're not going to spend a lot of money for anything. You have some goals. That's why you think that pursuing this course is going to help me accomplish those goals. So definitely there are perks and potential careers that you should mention. The goal section is meant for that. So please use the goals section to talk about your specific goals and vision. MS in CS is better or in AI? That I'm not. And what is a good GRE score for good university? I'm sure you all can find these answers and answers on Google. However, every student's profile is different, right? Your experiences are different, your scores are different. That's why everybody needs a personalized guidance. So I can't guide you on that. I'm an editor, and but I would request you to please reach out to Manya experts for more information, for more details on these points. I hope that's clear. Oh, yes, I think that was the last question. I hope these answers were helpful, and you are able to have some understanding of the process Okay, I think that's all from my side, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining the webinar. For more information, you can surely reach out to Mania experts, and we'll surely help you, throughout the process. So, thank you very much once again, and yeah, thank you.